Debunking Pseudoscience, which you can find many videos of on my channel, is a very short-term solution to a much larger problem. It's like treating the symptoms of a disease without actually treating the root cause. A much longer-term solution to the problem would be changing the attitudes of the people so that they don't start falling into pseudoscience in the first place. But YouTube India is making it much worse. Let's talk about it. Hi, my name's Pranav, you're watching Science is Dope, and the other day I was watching a Bear Biceps podcast because, I'm a huge fan. Anyway, he was saying this.
Okay. I feel कि it's also again content drives culture. तो अगर content निकल के आता है about women empowerment,
Same,
if we have,
of course, definitely.
Tomorrow if we have our version of like a female Shah Rukh Khan, and if that's ever possible, that will drive culture.
He's right, content does drive culture. If you want to bring about a change in society, a big change, then you have to start with what's being shown to the people through movies, through TV, through media. And a big part of that media over the last few years has been YouTube in India. And this is the kind of content that gets promoted across YouTube. Advanced ancient Indian science and technology. Bashing the West because apparently on YouTube a lot of viewers hate the West. Alternative medicine, especially Ayurveda, and its superiority over modern medicine. Popular godmen and the stuff they say to promote their brand of spirituality. And of course, good old-fashioned pseudoscience. You can imagine the kind of attitude that's being driven by this content. As long as this attitude exists, you can debunk pseudoscience all you want, and if something goes away, then a new one will come to replace it. This isn't really YouTube's fault. The demographic of people watching YouTube in India is heavily biased in favor of religion, and if you cater to this bias, then you can get a lot of views on YouTube. I feel like I have to give this disclaimer before starting this section because people have labeled me anti-Hindu for saying what I'm about to say. There are certain ideas within Hinduism that is just plain false, but making content as if it were true, or just saying some statement like, hey, it's possible this could have happened this way, then you can get a ton of views. Because a lot of people like watching content like this. To them, it doesn't matter if it's true, it only matters how much their tribe is glorified. And again, if you pander to this bias, then you can grow your channel really fast. I'm saying 150k subscribers in 6 months fast. Again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't cater to this bias. I'm not saying that you shouldn't make a channel based on Hinduism. Please do. I've seen some good channels that are based on their religion, on Hinduism. I'm just saying that when you cater to this bias by making some videos that are just bashing the West or promoting some fake signs of your ancient ancestors, then you're promoting a certain attitude within your viewers that make them prone to pseudoscience. Pseudoscience that can harm them, that can leave them unable to think rationally about reality. Not only this, but in addition, the content on YouTube drops in quality because of this. I'm going to use this channel as an example for why this is so. Carolina Goswami is a Polish YouTuber who married an Indian man, got fascinated with India, its culture and Hinduism, and makes content around it. Normally, this would make for a great premise for a YouTube channel, but if you look at her content closely, then you'll see the same pattern in a lot of her videos. Take this one. If you watch the entire video, then you'll see that it doesn't talk about science. It talks about some environmental, social, familial ideas from Indian tradition. And more importantly, you won't be able to figure out what this thumbnail actually means or how it relates to the content. Again, let's take this one. This video is not about the scientific temper of the West, it's about scientific temper in general, about all places in the world, India included. Although she cleverly avoids talking about serious pseudoscience in Hinduism, but if the thumbnail paints the West in a bad light, then even if that's not what the video is about, it's bound to get a lot of clicks. And the statues drinking milk, like, She only talks about it barely for 10 seconds in the video. And this word exposed, she seems to have realized that this is one word in the vocabulary of her audience that is guaranteed to get her a lot of views. Here's another one where this picture of Akash Banerjee in the thumbnail is just misleading. The video is not about him at all, but he's just there in the thumbnail for the clicks. In a lot of these videos and a lot more on our channel, the title and thumbnails are just misleading, but they're designed to appeal to the people with this bias who will click on them. Normally, I wouldn't talk so much about bad clickbait like hers, but this is exactly the kind of stuff that drives the bad attitude that I'm talking about. There are also channels like String and Praveen Mohan that are the worst examples of this. I've done videos on them previously, so I'm not gonna talk about them here. So how harmful can this attitude be? In 2014, a small body called the ISM&H, Indian Systems of Medicine and Homeopathy, was converted into an entire ministry called Ayush by the newly elected BJP government, a ministry for promoting alternative medicine quackery in India. It was behind the launch of the quack product Coronal. It was behind these homeopathic immune boosters, which no one knows how they work, not even the homeopaths. I know people that have put their lives in the hands of these quack products and suffer the consequences. I've spoken to doctors of patients who have died because of liver injury from these quack products and they couldn't get a transplant. I think the whole pandemic has sort of exposed how dangerous this lack of scientific temper can be and how a lot of these ideas use respect for our ancestors as an excuse to root for them. In 2015, during the Indian Science Congress, a claim was made about how ancient India had this advanced aviation technology. Things like these, astrology and Vastu Shastra, might seem harmless at the surface, but these are the things that make the soil fertile, that create the environment for more harmful forms of pseudoscience to exist. They're the ones that lay the groundwork for people to do irrational things, like losing tons of money to godmen who promise them that elusive enlightenment, and just general loss of the ability to think rationally about things. One thing that we should all try and do, one thing that I'm trying to do, is to promote the genuine science from the country, because people know that India had an awesome past, they just don't know what's awesome about it. So often this glory goes to fake claims like Vaimanika Shastra or Vedic maths. Promote things that you know are true, not the things that you want to be true. You don't have to try and change any bias you think you have, just be aware of them. And you'll automatically start thinking critically about the conclusions you reach from the information that these channels present. Try to question everything you hear. When you hear extraordinary claims, things that are unlikely, then figure out what evidence these claims have in support. Do they have strong, undeniable evidence, or do they have weak, flimsy evidence, or no evidence at all? You should only believe the first kind. You should only believe things that are likely. Otherwise, what's the point of believing things at all? If you're a content creator, then keep these things in mind. Be aware of what attitudes you're creating in your viewers. Do you want to make sensational content and thumbnails just for the views, or do you want to make content that actually matters? I think if we do just this much, there's going to be a massive shift in the attitude in this country. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, remember, science is dope.